Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? It's Anelli here.
All right, so one day after Max Scherzer ends up signing with the Mets, we have another huge deal. Everything really is bigger in Texas. I think that's what they say. Corey Seager signs a humongous deal with the Rangers. And that's after they signed Marcus Semien to a huge deal. So, first thing, Rangers offense absolutely putrid last year. They basically finished last or really close to last in Major League Baseball in most of the offensive categories. So they needed to make huge changes. Okay, so the first thing they did was they signed Marcus Semien yesterday or a couple days ago to a 7-year, $175 million contract. Semien, 31 years old, and this was the biggest or longest term contract that they've given out since 2014 when they signed Shin-Soo Choo. Now, Semien bet on himself last year, if you guys remember. He signed a 1-year deal with the Blue Jays, essentially trying to do exactly what he did. He crushed balls last year. Here's his slash line. 265 with a 334 on-base percentage. He slugged 538. That's an 873 OPS. And he had 7.3 WAR. So obviously an unbelievable year. Hit 45 home runs, which broke the single season record for second baseman. So the guy clearly mashed baseballs. Okay, so now to Seager. And this humongous deal, 10 years, $325 million. This reminds me, back in the day, almost or right around 20 years ago, when the Rangers went out and spent a ton of money, biggest contract at that point for Alex Rodriguez. Well, I guess it was a little bit different because when they spent all that money for A-Rod, they didn't do anything else. They were like, okay, A-Rod will come, he'll be the savior, and who cares who else we have on the team because A-Rod is awesome. And they weren't very good. And so this time around, it's a little bit different. The Rangers are going out and they're spending a lot of money on a lot of different players. They also signed Jonathan Gray, they signed Cole Calhoun, and I think they're still going to continue to bring in offensive players, or maybe that's enough for offense. Maybe now they transition and try to work on the pitching staff, the bullpen. But they're spending a ton of money. Okay, so now Seager's 27 years old, right? So a couple years younger than Semien. He'll be 28, I think, by the time the season starts. I think his birthday's in the April timeframe or so. Obviously a very, very good player, a great player when he's on the field. If you think back to 2020, the shortened season, when the Dodgers won the World Series, Seager was the MVP of the NLCS, was the MVP of the World Series. So the biggest question with Seager is injuries. He hasn't played as much as he probably should, or not probably should, definitely should have, over his career. So check out this stat right here. Over his career, he's played in 452 out of 709 games, right? So he has missed a ton of games. The thing is, when he plays, when he's actually in the lineup, he plays really, really well. So let's take a peek at his career slash line. So he's a career 297 hitter, 367 on base, and he slugs 504, all right? So his OPS is 870. So great offensive player. Now, the other interesting thing about this is Chris Woodard, the manager of the Rangers, he was actually the third base coach for the Dodgers from 18 to 20, I think it was. So he obviously knows Seager really well, knows his game, knows everything about him. And so I think this is one of the big reasons that the Rangers feel comfortable giving out this type of deal to Seager. So bottom line, do you like the moves? I guess if you've got tons of money to spend, then bring in two guys that can play the middle infield, that both can really, really hit, if they do it again. Now, age is interesting because Semien's already 31, right? And if you think back, I don't know how long ago, but teams started to be very wary of giving out big, long contracts to players that were in that like 30 age range, right? If you think back to the steroid era, when guys were playing unbelievable until like they're close to 40, it was a little bit different. And then teams started to less and less give away those big contracts to older players. So that deal was interesting. When I first saw that, I said, man, that's a lot of years. Seager, the 10 years, he's going to be 28, so this brings him almost to his 38-year-old season, which, again, a lot of these deals that are really long-term, they expect the player, I think, hopefully, to kind of outplay that contract early on, and then they have an understanding that later on they're probably not going to, but they hope to get enough in the front end to kind of make up for the back end. At least I think that's what teams are thinking. So, and they were going to have to give a big deal to Seager because the Dodgers, obviously, I think the Dodgers really wanted him back. There was some rumors that the Yankees wanted him as well. And so anytime you're dealing with the Dodgers and the Yankees, you're competing with them, you're going to have to spend a lot of money to try to outbid them. It's really, really hard to outbid them. And my prediction actually was that Seager was going to go to the Yankees. I thought having the left-handed bat at Yankee Stadium, I thought would be perfect for them. But clearly, I mean, it's hard to top this contract. So maybe the Yankees did want him, and I'm sure the Dodgers again did want him. But when they looked at this, when Seager's agent says, well, he's getting whatever, $300+ million to go to the Rangers, it's pretty steep. And I think those teams just said, you know what, you can have him. We like him, but you can have him. So that's my thoughts. What do you think? If you're a Rangers fan, you got to be pumped up for this, right? I think you're pumped up for this. Let me know in the comment section below. If you're just a Major League Baseball fan in general, do you like the signing? If you were the Rangers, would you do this signing? Would you do what they've done with Simeone and with Seager? I'd be interested to hear that down below as well. So that's all we have. If you have any questions, put in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you later. If you've enjoyed this video and want to learn more about building the elite swing, check out our new course. We have over 2 hours of content, almost 30 hitting drills. We break down the exact mechanics that you're going to want to implement into your swing. I've put the link in the description if you want to go check it out.